Are you trying to navigate this crazy thing called life? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Unraveling with Rayne. Hey everybody, I am here with Joseph Shackett.
How's it going?
He is a cannabis entrepreneur and outdoor enthusiast, which I saw his fishing this morning.
Yeah, I did. I caught a lot. Rips and lips. So.
Nice. He has a background in construction and farming. He's a longtime cannabis supporter who works as a project manager at a large cannabis farm in Ottawa.
I do. It's exciting work. You know, like not a lot of people get to see a cannabis farm. And to be a part of it in such early years of the Washington I-502, it's amazing. It's so surreal even to this day. So.
But you're not stopping there.
No, definitely not. Got to expand. You got to keep going, grow, move, swim upstream. So
you're taking this with you to Michigan?
I do have plans to go to Michigan and take what I've learned from Washington cannabis market over there, prepared with all of the info that I've learned over the years. So it's pretty exciting.
So you open up a lounge, right?
Yes, a place to relax, a place I need to go to.
You've been working so hard out on the grow, so that way you're just gonna chill. And
it is. There's a lot of work that goes into a grow, and I mean every aspect of it. It's just nonstop. You know, you're always planning. You know, you're getting ready for the next cycle that's coming up, and dealing with the cycle that's at hand. So it's just it's sometimes overbearing, but you somehow make it through. So.
Yeah, right on. Yeah. Well, I guess we have to go back a little bit though.
We do.
We have to rewind. Take it back.
Yep.
So, you started out in construction and concrete and farming, yes?
I did.
So then, where was the transition from there?
Well, I think it was really slowly. It was gradually, and a lot of actions took place to get me from living on the west side in a very conservative family that is. No marijuana. No, that's a no. Right. I had a zigzag shirt. I remember my aunt came up to me and she said, "Do you know what that means? You know what that shirt means?"
Yeah.
And of course I did, but I was, being a little smart aleck, and I said, "Nah, it's the preferred rolling papers for tobacco." And so I mean, it was all automatic no right off the gate.
Yeah.
There was a lot of abrasion, moving. So I mean, it was quite some time from being, in my younger years, coming into an adulthood. Learning from it, going from weed to medical marijuana and then into cannabis. I mean, it had its own transition in my life and what it really meant to me in that. I used cannabis for, when I was in construction, it really helped soothe all those hard days, especially that day. Remember when I was in your backyard wrenching out that stump? I spent hours on it, I think. Probably charged you extra for that alone.
Well,
Yeah.
But you did a good job.
Well, good. Does it still look good, or did you the weeds kind of?
Okay. I've got a beautiful fairy garden there now.
A fairy garden.
Yeah.
You grow fairies, or just fairies hang out there?
No, I grow herbs, but the fairies hang out there.
We're in the herb business.
Yeah. Well, not that kind of herb, but
what you can grow in your county.
Exactly. So it kind of evolved for you as you were kind of figuring out how cannabis had its place in your life, and like tell me a little bit more about how it evolved, I guess.
Okay, well, when I first moved over to this side of the state, I got away from conservative side and kind of.
So when did you move here?
Moved here in 2002, and that's when I met you. I mean, shortly after moving here, going to high school, meeting new friends. I mean, that's where I think we got introduced. I don't quite remember the day it happened.
I don't either.
It's kind of smoky. It's kind of foggy for me.
Yeah.
But I do remember.
Oh gosh. Okay, we'll jump into this.
I don't know if you guys can see this.
We'll jump into this.
Yeah, we'll jump right into this. I think you didn't even sign my yearbook. This is the yearbook from 2004.
Oh no.
It's the only yearbook I have from high school, by the way. And there is a photo in here of you. By the way, this is Throwback Thursday, so I don't know if the cameras can zoom in on that. You guys get a little look on that right there.
Oh my! Do I look gorgeous in my tutu?
You look freaking beautiful, and then there I am right next to you, ugly hunter dressed up, holding some dead geese. That's That's definitely.
What kills me about that picture that they used is I had the most ridiculous headband on ever. It is like
I think it's perfect.
Flowers galore.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's all you.
It completed the ensemble, I'll have to say.
So I mean, that's what I got with that. That was the I saw that today, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta bring that to her. I gotta show her. So.
Thanks.
That's
Thanks
my
for
little throwback. Oh God, feels good.
It is so crazy how I can't remember the exact day that we met. I
I
feel
know,
like
yeah,
you were just always.
Well, we were just
there.
always doing stuff and hanging out with people. There was always something going on. So it's not
Right.
like a certain event, you know. We were always
Right.
brought back together with a certain group of
Right.
people. So
Isn't
and
that kind of how it is in high school, though?
that is, you have your own cliques, and then you hang out with these people, and then you guys kind of come together, and we have a bonfire, and then you guys go back to where you guys were.
bonfires. Yes.
You were off doing your little dancing. I was probably off, you know, freaking partying and doing crazy stuff. I don't know.
Tell it like it is, Joe. Tell it like it is.
It's pretty bad. So, but no, cannabis though. Cannabis in its journey from when I got to high school. We'll jump
Yes.
right back into that story.
Yeah.
When I got into high school, it was weed. It was the party drug. It was what you know somebody had at somebody's house, and I was like, all right, somebody's got some weed. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Be close to them, you know. You got to be cool with them. So that's where it really started out for me, and then it really had a quick transition through high school. One of our close friends, as you might remember, Matt Honeycutt, when he, so that was an angel right there. When he came down with cancer, came down like it was the flu. No, he came down with cancer and fought and battled cancer. After his passing, it took some steam out of my sails. And, going to a party and somebody having some weed, it was just more like, I need that. Give me that. I'm done fighting, trying to be, proper and conservative. Let me see that.
Right.
So that's where it kind of helped me battle some of the hardship of losing a close high school friend. And that's a really traumatizing experience.
Yeah.
And that's where kind of cannabis started slowly making its transition, or weed started making its slow transition into medical marijuana. Because a short time after that, my uncle, he contracted cancer, and he had a long battle with it, several years, and eventually lost his, fight to it. And after that, that's when depression kind of really set in. You have back-to-back losses of true people that have an effect on your life.
Well, not even, like that period in somebody's life, everything is like amplified.
Oh yeah,
10.
yeah. It's amazing, and how much it really it'll mold you from then on out in the direction you'll take, definitely. And so after my uncle passed, cannabis or weed really transformed then into medical marijuana. I really needed that to really take off that sad feeling that I had. I woke up every day. What's my purpose? Why is this way or that way? And cannabis really sorted it out and kind of brought a light into what it could do for people.
Yeah.
And how it could really help them and not just be that black sheep, family members brought the weed to the event. No, it's now out there and aimed towards helping people and easing their discomfort in any which way. There's so vast differences in what people can use it for. And so that's where it really started taking place. After my uncle passed, I really started losing focus on what meant, what was the meaning of my experience in life, and losing friends, losing family members. Where was I headed? Nothing really made sense.
Yeah.
And I really started going down bad roads. I would hang out with the wrong crowd, and that's when I started getting in trouble with the law, with weed, with marijuana. They'd catch me out on the fishing bank. I'd be having a good time. We'd be smoking a bowl and look across the river, and here comes a boat. Well, who's this? Well, it's Mr. Ranger. Let me see that weed you got in your pocket. So that always turned out bad for me, even though I was out trying to have a good time, aimed at trying to get relief from all the bad, stuff that was going on at that time. And it slowly progressed more and more to where I got more in trouble, and I was more in the court system, battling this case or that case of, getting caught in the bushes pretty much with your friends smoking some weed. Right. And then more and more time passed, and I got in trouble with the law even deeper. I got myself a felony back in the day for doing some bad stuff, a little Class C felony. So, just a little, just a brush off the shoulder. Yeah, not some serious crime. So that really took a lot of my younger ideas of like what I liked in life out of it, because they took my gun rights away, of course. And that took a lot of the activities that I had learned over my years. Hunting, I loved to go out hunting. I would skip school to go out hunting. I think that's why I was held back a year. And yeah, so
that had to have been hugely detrimental, like not to be able to go out and hunt.
Oh my God, that was.
Like, you're already drowning and looking for ways to feel better, and then. Yeah,
well, I had done that to myself. So, you know, a couple years had passed, and I had really hit the straight and narrow. I really didn't want to have that a part of my life anymore, making trouble, getting into trouble, seeing my family members have to go through the court system of me just being dumb, and not learning how to use cannabis in the right way. I would just go out and do stupid stuff and find ways to almost wreck my life.
Yeah.
So once I figured out that, you know, you can go a long ways down, you gotta stop, you gotta head back up, you gotta do things right. And once I figured that out, I actually, I was working in the construction industry, in the agricultural, you know, actually working with one of our friends, Jared, out at his family's farm, doing a lot of farming, tractor work. Hard days, you know, just, So I used cannabis more and more. And that's where it really set into medical marijuana for me. I had met a girl at that time that was in the medical marijuana industry in the field. She was a medical marijuana patient. She had Crohn's disease, and it really alleviated all of her discomfort. You know, they would try to give her pills. It would make her sick. And I ended up talking with this girl about all of this. You know, how does it benefit you? Oh, it benefits me so much, this or that. I'm a medical patient. I actually grow my own cannabis. And oh, wow, that's so exciting. And then all of a sudden, my life kind of switched to like, wow, I can see all this benefit that medical marijuana has for people. Like my uncle who could have benefited, or Matt probably could have benefited from cannabis at that time.
Sure.
You know, so there's an amazing amount of people that just need this in their life. And I mean, it's not, we have to shove it down their throat. If people want it, they should be able to get it.
Sure.
So so she really opened my eyes to that, you know, like people really need this, and showed me lots of proof of, you know, Alzheimer's and cancer and, you know, Crohn's, epilepsy. There's endless list of how it can help people.
Yeah. Unfortunately, those are buried a lot, though.
Buried a lot deep down by the stigmas and the reefer madness that is entitled on people that use marijuana and cannabis, you know, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
So, I mean, that really, with her experience and seeing the benefit close up hand, you know, we started dating. We dated for about 3 years, and she really brought into that medical marijuana stage in my life where I was more aimed towards that lifestyle. I went and got myself a medical card, which was an experience all on its own, because you're all paranoid, you know, people are going to look at me funny when I'm going into this office.
Right.
Once I got past that, then I was just like, oh yeah, I got my card, by the way. You know, you kind of felt cool. I've got my card.
Yeah.
Oh, you got your card? Can you go get me something? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was always asked.
I'm
so,
sure.
I went and I started growing here and there in my closet, and that was like probably the most exciting time in my life in cannabis. Was the stage of where I went from not being in the medical field like I'm a doctor, to using marijuana as a benefit towards my body and helping me battle some of the depression that I was dealing with my family members. And then also in labor, all of that labor from construction and farming that has wear and tear on you, and to be able to relax at that end of the day, I just saw more benefit than drinking a beer or having a stiff drink at the end of the day like other people, you know, find themselves doing. So that really proved it to me that I could utilize it for my work, for, you know, myself and my mental state, to help me in all of those aspects. And when I would sit there in front of my plants, I remember that my first set of plants I was growing, it was in my closet. I'd taken all my clothes out of my closet and threw them on my bed, all on a big pile, and I shoved all these plants into my itty bitty closet and like tarped it off. And then in the morning I'd go and I'd start making coffee, and I'd turn on the music, you know, and after, you know, on the weekends or something, I'd sit there in front of my plants, just drinking coffee, just watching them grow, watching paint dry. But it's a lot more.
What's crazy
it's
about
a lot more
that?
fun.
everybody I know that grows, that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to sit there and
watch
babysit them and
Yep.
enjoy them. And I've had some people tell me all the different types of music that they'll play for them. Like,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
so, like, in tune with their plants. I'm like, wow.
It's almost like it's their kids, you know?
Exactly.
They want to see them grow and
Yeah.
prospering and their beauty and what
Some
they
of them
bring.
got their little, you know.
Yeah, you get your little-
Yep, and they're, ooh, look at
Woo!
those. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
That's awesome.
So that really it inspired me for the passion of growing. I
Mhm.
really enjoyed it. It really gave you a feeling of it's all your own. You know, you made this, you know, it is a gift. I have to
Yeah.
say it is a gift. And this journey I could not be on without God. God has influenced everything in my life. Before I was in trouble all the time. You know, after my uncle passed, I cut off God completely out of my life.
Yeah.
Out of my life. My family, my grandfather built a church. His brother was the pastor, and you know, we were always involved with the church.
Yeah.
Flash forward a couple of years, my uncle passed, separated. Don't even want to have anything to do with it. Life just went tumbling down. Nothing met up right. Nothing worked out right.
Sure.
Once I made a shift in my life to truly and utterly just find out what am I? Who
Mhm.
am I? And I, you know, with all my heart, reached out to God, and right away, immediately, everything lined out. I was offered a job the next day with a man you might actually remember, the Richard Pritchard.
I do.
Yeah,
Yes.
him and his wife actually helped me come back to my faith, and
Nice.
when that all lined out, it just seemed like it was on the fast streak. Just everything's perfect. You're symmetrical. Let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so right then and there, I knew what it meant in my life and what God meant in my life and how I had been missing this thing.
Yeah.
It seemed like forever.
Yeah.
And when I had, I had, you know, battled with depression, then moved to medical industry, and then go into construction, and now I am starting to meet new people in the cannabis field and in all different aspects. I had contacted a guy, Richard Dignam. You remember Richard?
Mm-hmm.
Owned the bar there in
Yeah.
Burbank. Well, we became friends. We started talking about cannabis, and you know, we both have a passion for it. And he had plans to make the first mobile medical dispensary in Tri-Cities.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really exciting to be alongside him and him meeting new people. Like I had met Steve Lee, the owner of Green to Go,
Yes.
way before he was even owner. He was
Yeah.
actually trying to compete with Richard at the time for
Mhm.
mobile medical dispensaries before, you know, we had any stores, and you couldn't have a place to go get you. You know, they had to bring it to you, and so that was really cool. Actually, in the beginnings of I-502, even, you know, the pre-dawn. I remember Stacy Hall. You remember Stacy
Mhm.
Hall? She
Yes.
actually a long time ago reached out to me, and I love cannabis. She loved cannabis. Hey, do you want to have these petitions signed so we can legalize cannabis in Washington?
Yeah.
Way before I-502, of course.
Right.
I remember standing out there awkwardly trying to get people at like a monster truck rally to, hey, would you like to legalize weed? And, you know, they
Yeah.
have their kid behind them. Of course, they're like, no, kid, go away.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to do with you. So
Yeah.
you still felt that stigma, that,
Oh.
you know, that,
So what year was that? would
that
you
was
say?
probably 2000. Oh, that was 2009, 2000.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would definitely be a huge time of before it was really like
Yeah,
something that's openly discussed at all.
exactly.
So I'm sure
It was
really
very
hard.
controversial at the
Yeah.
time. Nobody really wanted to bring it up because they still felt like, you know, that shame was going to be put upon
Mhm.
you. You know, oh, you
Yeah.
can't be smoking weed. You can't be smoking. That's bad for you. Bad
Sure.
for you.
Sure.
So yeah, that was, you know, a lot of things that, you know, that really lined up after I had, you know, found my faith again.
Mm-hmm.
It would just worked out perfectly to where I had met Richard, got in contact with him, had the same passion, and eventually, you know, I was still working in construction, so I'd come back to his house at the end of the day, just dusty and dirty and full of concrete in my hair and whatnot, and he'd be sitting there and, you know, just, oh yeah, we had, you know, $20,000 in sales today, and all I did was go golfing in the morning, and I'm just like, dude, well, how do I do this to bring me in?
Right.
I'm tired of being dusty and
Bless me
dirty.
with the knowledge.
Yes, show me. And so he actually helped me with a lot of information in the beginning.
Nice.
You know, it's a lot of hit or miss when you first start with cannabis and growing. You know, it's all, what is this? You know, how can I get my plants to grow right? And a lot of information every which way. And so Richard had a lot of experience with cannabis and medical marijuana at the time. And so he was just feeding me information, just rifling it. Oh, this is going on. These are coming up. People over here, we're having this event. And when I was a medical patient, I would actually take my excess flower to him, and then he would run it through his mobile dispensary. And so that kind of brought us a real close friendship and a business together. He noticed that I was really not liking construction, even though I do have a passion for the construction industry, in architecture, in design. I love being able to picture it up here and then put it
there.
In like your yard, remember? Yeah.
Yep.
The bushes are going to be gone. They'll look good.
Yes.
Yes.
So good.
Driveway.
I'm so happy with my fairy garden.
Fairy garden. Did you ever get that?
Fairy garden?
I don't know. I did this in the fairy garden.
All right.
Did you ever get that big stump to be like a table like we were talking about?
It's ready.
It's ready. How many years has it been?
Hey, don't judge. I've got 3 babies.
3. Oh, that's a lot more work. My mom
but
was
it's ready.
It's okay. It's ready.
It's
Well,
ready.
maybe I'll come over and
Yes.
point at it, and maybe
You're like,
the fairies can
They might.
sprinkle some
They
dust
just
on
might take care of that for
table.
me.
I'm just
That's
kidding.
why I keep them around.
Well, you gotta keep them around.
I know. Yes, it is ready. So you're kind of in this transitional phase between the two. You're still working construction, landscaping, concrete, all this stuff, and then you're kind of growing. And so when did you decide to say, okay, I'm ready to make this shift. I'm ready to go in this direction.
Definitely. It was when I was hanging out with Richard Dignam. I'd kind of separated myself from the girl that I was talking about before, and I really set on my own to want to build my own kind of lifestyle around cannabis.
Yeah.
And Richard noticed that I was, a hard worker and would always have a job that involved me leading some people in a construction atmosphere and knowing what needs to be done. And so he saw that, and one day I remember him asking me, "Hey, are you done working like that for the rest of your life?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Well, I got an opportunity. I talked with some gentlemen, and they're pretty much ready to bring you on." I said, "Well, what are you talking about?" He said, "Well, I've been out on this cannabis farm for the last week or so, and I need a manager to come out here and run this for me." And I told him that you were the guy, and without even asking about this to me or anything.
Yeah.
And so I said, "Well, give me 2 weeks. I got to have at least 2 weeks to, tell the guy that I was working for at the time."
Yeah.
But I've been always telling him, I'm eventually going to be in the cannabis industry. It is coming, whether you guys believe it or not. And that their whole time, freaking pothead, you're crazy. Yeah,
Right.
You're never going to legalize it. I mean, I remember having fights in the driveway with my mother back in high school. "Mom, it's going to freaking be legalized." "No, it's not." Just screaming at the top of my lungs. Yeah, it was embarrassing,
man.
I'm sure, for her.
I think most teenagers are, though.
Yeah.
Especially in high school.
Yeah. So that, Richard, really, I have to thank Richard for launching me into where I'm at today, because he brought me out there to the farm, Columbia Valley Farms, before it had really been split up into its own little quadrants. It's a campus.
Okay.
It's about 15 farms. We're actually going forward into what it looks like when you walk onto a cannabis farm.
I'm excited to hear this.
Okay, so most people, they know it from the outside. They see a giant 8-foot fence wrapping around this big penned-in area. A bunch of cameras, a bunch of hush-hush. Can't see inside. You only can smell it from down the road.
Yeah.
I know. You see, get up to this big wall, and then there's the little check station. You got to go inside. You got to sign a badge. They got to give you clearance. It's kind of like going important and stuff. And so, you'll step inside this gate, and right off the bat, you'll be overwhelmed, because all of the mental images you can have of what it looks like. I mean, it's probably a Jamaica idea of what you think. Oh, Rastafari guys out here and there, which there's some farms that do that.
Sure.
But right off the bat, you just see projects everywhere, and green plants here or there, depending on the year or what kind of grow you're going to. Outdoor, indoor. Indoor, obviously.
Yeah.
All the time running around. They're just crazy. Outdoor, it's crazy part time of the year. It's rush, rush, rush. So you walk into a place and there's projects going on here, there, plants being shoved over here, put into this container, and these ones are being brought out. It's madness, I have to say. You'll be overwhelmed, or have to get you out there at the farm this year. You're going to come out.
Yes.
You will see all the pretty plants.
Aww.
You don't have to see them. No more smell-o-vision. No, yeah, you don't have to smell it. You don't have to go there.
Can I bring my own looking glass?
You can. We'll even have some for you, probably. Yeah. It's gonna put on some gloves. You don't get too sticky.
Yeah.
So, but you'll go in there. You see these ginormous plants, bigger plants than you can ever imagine. Because in your mind, you're thinking these plants that are in somebody's basement, backyard, kind of tucked in behind some shrubbery and hidden. No, this is all blown out. Just giant plants here, rows of plants over there. People walking totes of little baby plants over here. Greenhouses being cut down and all the cannabis harvested out of that, being rushed out into another building. It's absolute madness, I have to say. It is overwhelming. And like I said, still surreal to even be involved in such a thing.
I bet.
Because you walk into a pen full of marijuana and your immediately thought is, am I going to get arrested?
Right.
Are the feds watching this? Are they seeing what I'm seeing right now? 1,000 plants in front of me?
Right.
And it kind of brings a light and a shine, because you see a lot of people, they're being employed, they're being, jobs given to them, just like I was given an opportunity to be in this industry. They were too, a passion that they have. They want to take it into a much more professional platform than just in their, couch sitting there enjoying a joint or whatnot. So you see these people that are as just excited as you are to be in the industry, and it's just, as soon as you get there, you just feel welcomed. I mean, no matter what, you're like, I'm home. This is my backyard. Except for everybody taking pictures. That's one of the main things, is what can I take a picture?
Right.
Of course you can take a picture.
I know.
And then it's selfie here, selfie there. Look at these buds. They're all, I was
gonna say, I see your Instagram story. And
I'm
like, oh, look at all the pretty plants.
I do get a little out of hand. Yeah.
That's amazing.
You really can't describe it from an Instagram picture. I mean, that's just not even. I mean, you can see it and be blown away by it, but still, you would be even more blown away if you were standing there in front of this with all of the sights, the smells, the sounds. I mean, it's crazy. I have to say. So we'll have to get you out there. Definitely. Definitely.
Please. So when do you guys gear back up?
We'll get ready here mid-February. The grow season doesn't start until May 5th. Everybody thinks 420, I'm going to shove my plants outside. Well, Mr. Frost's going to come around and kill them.
Yeah.
That happens. It happens.
Yeah.
So, around middle of February, we'll gear back up. We'll get all the supplies, cleaned and organized, and get all these plants that are, we have as mothers right now. Start taking cuttings and gearing up to multiply and start feeding these farms, because it literally takes thousands and thousands and thousands of plants.
Well, for what, 15 you said? 15 farms?
There are 15. I think we have plans for 18 this year, so it'll be, another additional 3. But so we'll have to supply our own farms plus all these other farms that are desiring, clones or small baby plants. They'll be asking us, hey, do you have these 3,000 plants? I need them for this farm and that farm. So we're really just gearing up right now.
Yeah.
The guys back at the farm, they're tending a couple plants here and there. And then, like I said, mid-February, it'll be chop, 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 chop. Make a bunch of babies, have a bunch of kids everywhere. Yeah. And then it's just it's a fun time, because they take off, real quickly, or immediately. They just vibrant growth, and it's amazing to be around that time, because it's just such a happy time. You get to see all these little babies grow.
Right.
All these little kids run around. So
that's awesome. So I guess this is kind of a newbie question, but I know that there's a lot of different strains. And so I'm sure you guys have a system, or like a certain amount of strains that you keep, or like specialize in even. I mean, I don't know how you do that.
Well, we do have a few key cornerstone strains that work great at our farm. I mean, some strains that work awesome, amazing on the west side don't work here, because on the east side of the state, it's the desert. You don't get 110 over on the west side. You'll get 85, maybe 90.
Yeah.
And so we source our strains locally, And I mean, a lot of the Washington strains, they work here.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the California strains, stuff where you get closer to the equator, it's more of a sativa-based strain down there. It grows. They need longer, more time to grow. Where up here in Washington, you don't get that time. It gets cold pretty fast right after September, you know.
Yeah.
And October comes around and we have horrible weather in October for plants that need more time in October. Because Mr. Rain Cloud comes over and just...
Done.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
Hailstorm, it's over.
There's probably a few hybrids in there, but they wouldn't do as well, maybe.
They do. Certain strains acclimate to this climate better than other strains. So, I mean, we're still in our early years. This is only the third year that this farm has actually been in service. And for the most part, it's only been a couple pens in that actual farm that kept this thing alive in the beginning. And this last year, I think we added 12 pens. So, I mean, it really came around pretty fast. There was a lot of work, and it just... certain different growing mediums and growing types are involved in these farms. Some farms run a different selection of soil than the other farms like to do. Some farms grow in the ground, some farms grow in pots above ground. And so, I mean, it's a lot of strain hunting. It's crazy having to find all those strains. Some strains brought up from California work up here, and so we've kept those. They're really heavy producers. We're trying to keep them around. And also and perfect them along the way. But we bring in lots of strains. You know, we try them out, they'll fail, try them out, this will succeed. We'll bring that one in, we'll keep it.
Yeah.
But for most of the part, we like to buy clones because clones are a guaranteed female. You know, you don't have to worry about the seed popping and it being a male, and then
probably the worst thing.
your worker is not paying attention, and then all of a sudden this is all pollinated and garbage. Can't do nothing with it, gotta kill it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work.
Would the strain dictate how you grow them, or do you just choose how to grow them?
Some strains grow in a better growing style. Some strains like to grow nice, tall. Some grow bushy and fat and, you know, just real thick. And so you have to be strain specific if you're going to be growing a certain way. You got to be ready for, I can't grow these plants this way. They're not going to want to grow vertically. They're going to want to lay on the ground, you know. So I can't set this thing up for that way. So you have to really know what direction you're taking, what strains you're bringing in, and kind of make that all work together. So it's a lot of planning. I mean, it's a lot of guess and check and trial and error along the way. And the people that I work for have spent a lot of money, and a lot of it has just been in research, pretty much. You know, you're not gaining anything from it except for the information of what I can do next.
Sure.
So it takes a lot of practice to find out what strains can work here in Eastern Washington alone, but with our growing style. So
nice.
I don't know if that helped you in any way. I ramble a lot.
Hopefully. No, just keep rambling. It's okay. That's what we do here.
We do here at Moody Logic Studios. We ramble and drink coffee and water and spill it everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Right on. So tell me about your schooling and your certification. Like, how did you do that? Was it on campus? Was it...
Well, it was through work. We had contacted Oaksterdam University, and they were super excited to see a Washington-based grow with so many employees, because we hired on a lot of people to manage these grows. You know, we need to hire on 12 people, 13 plus people to, you know, one person in each pen operating each farm, and they all vary in size. And so, you know, you have these people that are learning all the way along, you know, the whole trip and working at the same time. So our boss last year, after harvest, you know, he said, okay, well, I want you guys to get a little schooling, you know, earn something for what you guys have done. And so they went out and spent a little money, had been in contact with Oaksterdam. Richard Dignam had already gone to Oaksterdam University and had gotten his certification through them. And it was as a seminar down in Las Vegas. It was like a week-long class. You know, you spend 13 or 12 hours a day in class. It was long. And it was a lot of like learning stuff that you already knew. You know, it was just pretty much confirming, oh yeah, okay, so I can't use this water with that. Okay.
Sure.
So it was a lot of that. But, you know, in the testing, it was really of making sure that you could comprehend what they were laying down and what the industry really required out of these employees.
Yeah.
And so when we went to the seminar and you know, our bosses, it was a blast, by the way, going down to Las Vegas with all, you know, everybody at work. And then my boss, actually, he paid for a lot of the trip. We would go to these fine restaurants, and
Nice.
yeah, it was just awesome. And there was a lot of stuff that is going to stay in Vegas.
That's how it works.
Yeah, what happens in Vegas stays there. So yeah, and through work, I gained, you know, certification in cannabis horticulture and business and law, and kind of got the rundown and the logistics of what is to come and what is, you know, needed of people in this industry. And Oaksterdam University, you know, they were founded 07.
Nice.
So I mean, they've been in it a lot longer than most of these new universities are online that really don't have a campus.
Yeah.
Or Oaksterdam in Oakland, they've been around for a while, and they have you know, amazing instructors. And so it was just, if you get a certification or some kind of schooling from Oaksterdam, you've already got a foot in the door in any part of this industry, because it's more than anybody else has got, and it's a lot more than most people will get, because it's such a accredited school. You know, they have you know, just amazing people there teaching. So
I was gonna ask you on the legal aspect of it, because I know that a lot of schools will definitely cover the legal part of it first.
Yeah,
like
they
what
cover.
You can do, what you can't do.
Yeah, there's a lot of do's and don'ts in I-502. It's such like, it's really choked down on what you can and cannot do in I-502. They have such strict regulations, and you know, they watch the grows so tightly. I mean, their camera systems, they can go back 40 days to see what you watered in your plant back then and pull it up. If they really wanted to, they could shut you down for a lot of things, because you know, there's a lot of mistakes that are made in the industry, and it's, you know, it's good that they're so tightly regulated, because it keeps us safe. It keeps us from smoking pesticides or ingesting bad chemicals that people will use on cannabis to get it to grow. You know, with all these pests and these climate changes, and you know, having like this year with going through all the smoke damage and just different types of pests, a lot of people would use pesticides and, you know, not get away with it. They would fail their testing. You know, they get sent into the labs, they bring it up, boom, failed for test, batch failed. And so yeah, they can't go on the shelf with that, which is good. We need that type of regulation. We want to be able to go to a store and say, that right there is gonna be safe for me. It's not gonna give me some, you know, crazy medical disease. You know, it's safe. It's safe cannabis. And that's what I really appreciate, it being taken out of the black market and brought into the light and brought up front in a professional manner. And I mean, it's amazing to watch where it has been transformed into. So.
Well, I agree with you 100%. Like you're saying, just knowing what you're consuming. That's a huge thing, because if you're just going to, you know, so-and-so down the road, you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know what they're putting on their plants.
You have no
it looks
idea.
good, it smells good, probably hurts when it goes down. So.
So yeah, that's definitely an upside. And so, is there a difference between like the things that you have to use for outdoor versus indoor, or does it?
No.
I would assume so.
Well, there is, because what you're gonna meet in outdoor and indoor are a lot different. Outdoor plants, they have their own like hardy self-defense mechanisms built in. You know, they have their own I don't know, just defenses. Whereas indoor plants, they're kind of like finicky. You know, sensitive. I need this light dose of pesticidal spray. And outdoors, just spray it on me. I need some suntan lotion. So I mean, you have to be careful with indoor plants. They're a lot more sensitive, I found out.
Are they kind of like the divas?
Yes. They're very touchy. They don't, you know, they do a lot of TLC. Whereas outdoor plants, you can almost just freaking forget about them, and they'll pop around the corner. I'm still here. You forget about me? It's been a month since you've watered.
Nice.
So.
Well, the reason I ask is because I hear a lot of people talking about, oh, well, you don't want that. That's outdoor. You want indoor. And I'm thinking, well, plants are meant to grow outdoor. Like, wouldn't it make sense? That they would grow outdoor? Like, I don't know.
You have to, when people say, oh, I don't want outdoor, I want that indoor. Indoor, a sense, right off the bat, when you bring cannabis indoors and try to grow it indoors, you're spending a lot more money, you're paying a lot more attention, you're putting a lot more perfection into the plants. So, you know, the plant is going to show that appreciation in its flowers. The flowers are going to be more vibrant. They're gonna smell better. They're gonna look better. They're gonna be cleaner. You know, outdoor, it's got that little bit of dirt in it. And there's a bug that flew by. The bird landed on the branch yesterday, so be careful of that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just a cleaner product indoors, definitely. Outdoor, you'll find a lot higher THC content percentage in outdoor, because it just has that natural ability through the sun and the vibrant, ness of the sun and all of the air circulation. Everything comes into play with outdoor, and it just grows really nicely. Indoor, very finically, but when you treat it right, it'll just outperform outdoor. In my opinion, it'll outperform outdoor because of just the care that you're giving it right off the bat. You're concealing it from the harsh, elements of the outdoors, and making sure it has the right lighting, and you getting the proper space, and get that little bug off you, and you can do a lot more stuff to indoor and bring up the quality. So I think that's what people are really looking for, is that indoor hydroponic, new age grow.
Yeah.
Give me the highest THC you can. A lot of people, they make that mistake. I want the highest THC.
Yeah.
I hear that so often when I go into Green to Go. Give me the highest THC, and I look over at the person. I'm like, man, if you knew more about cannabis, you'd know it's not all about the THC. The cannabinoid system is so vast, so great, that everything in that plant has something to do with what you're feeling and what you're getting from it. The strain, just the type of high or of effect that it gives you. Everything matters, from terpenes to cannabinoids. It all plays a part in what the aspect, or what experience you're getting.
Sure.
So.
And I've heard that it's good to have a pretty equal match of THC and CBD, or
it depends on
is it a ratio thing?
It depends on what you need it for.
Okay.
If you need a high CBD because you work long days and your body just can't take one more minute. You want that CBD. You want that relaxing feeling. You want that ability to take a breather.
Yeah.
And so you'll find a lot higher CBD content in a plant for you in that aspect. Now, if you're dealing with anxiety, or you need more of a euphoric feel, you want a THC-rich plant. And it'll still come with some CBDs or some CBNs or different cannabinoids, but you're wanting a higher THC because it'll give you that uplifting, that happy, joyous, which I would aim for people with depression or people with anxiety. It'll get them to have that almost giggle fest. You won't be sat down on the couch just, I'm not productive. Because when I smoke sativa, my creativity level jumps through the roof. I use that draft board or that design board that my uncle had back in the day, and kind of encouraged me to bring that creativity out. Oh man, that's just amplified. That's where I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna build a waterfall in your backyard, Rayne. It's gonna have a freaking awesome table right here. Your fairy garden's just gonna be beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what you really want if you need that in your life. If you need that uplifting, go for sativa. If you need that relaxing, go for indica. The indica sativa is, that can't do you wrong. So it's all what you need.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. Sounds like there's a little bit for
everybody. There's enough for everybody.
Right on. Very cool. So, you're currently working in Othello.
Yep.
So
not currently. I'm fishing right now.
Right.
We're gearing up for work.
Right. I'm
taking
so
time
jealous.
off right
Every
now.
time I'm like, Joe's out fishing again.
Out
Look at
fishing
this
again.
guy.
Out jigging for nibbles.
Anyway, jealousy aside.
Okay.
What's the next move? I know that you're going towards this lounge, this big move.
That is.
You're moving away from us.
I have said that forever, though. I've said, I'm moving to Michigan. I'm getting out of here, yo.
See, it's another one of those things where like, nah, you're never going to do it.
Never going to do it. It's never going to be legalized. Yeah, well, it's going to happen this year.
Okay.
Last year, I spent more time just learning and getting all of the ammunition I'm going to need to make this move.
Okay.
I've been really gearing up to go over to Michigan and kind of start my life in the cannabis industry over there with what I've learned here.
Okay.
I want to help people get in touch with cannabis and give them a place to come together. kind of like your local bar.
Okay.
But with a lounge, a cannabis lounge, it's a much more enjoyable atmosphere. You bring in people that are out there just to have a happy time, a good time, to have a great conversation. They're not going out there going party, you know.
Yeah.
Not, well, sometimes some people have a big dab. You have a big dab, you know. It's after you're done coffee. So the lounge is aimed to really get people together in the cannabis industry over in Michigan, maybe in other states in the far distant future after that. But I just really want to be able to enlighten people, bring a light on to the discussion of cannabis, and kind of give people an opportunity to see something else than what they've been shown, and kind of bring a professional aspect to it. I want to give a real nice scenic environment, a homey feel, something where you're going to want to come to my lounge and hang out. Just chill.
Yeah.
Just chill.
Well, see, Earl and I have decided that you need to fly us out when this actually happens.
When this happens, you are more than welcome to come out. You have backstage passes, whatever is backstage, I don't know, but you guys have the unlimited access when this place gets started, so that,
sweet. Well, that's
no
all
problem.
that really matters.
Oh yeah, of course. Got to keep the host happy. So.
Right on. So, where can we find you? Where are all of your outlets?
Oh,
Facebook,
you can find me.
Instagram.
You can find me just about everywhere. I'm just kind of reaching out in every different social media. You can find me on Instagram at Joseph Shackett and at agrotechnic_LLC. That's my work Instagram. That's kind of where I'm just going to be showing just our products and the people that are involved in the farm. And that's kind of a new page we started at the end of this last year. So we'll see where that goes.
Very cool.
And you can also find me on Facebook. This is the kind of the beginning platform for this lounge, JDS, which on Facebook you can find me at Joe's Dab Shack. I know, I kind of
excellent name.
Yeah, I know.
It.
Yeah.
I love it.
We don't serve crabs, we only serve dabs. So.
Look at you.
Yeah, I got a million of them.
Nice. Sweet. All right, well, thank you so much.
So glad to be here.
So much for coming in. I have been so excited about this because it is something that we definitely need to talk more about.
I know, you're going to be talking pretty soon with Caitlin from Green to Go, which she's going to give a whole different aspect to this thing.
There's so many sides.
I think it's more exciting to be in the retail because you're constantly wheeling and dealing and meeting new people. Oh yeah, definitely. It's pretty laid back at the farm, except for when it's crunch time. Then it's just like, I'm losing my hair. That's why I wear a hat now. I lost it all.
Man. That's all right. You look good in a hat, though.
Well, thank you.
Very cool. Well, thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
I enjoyed this, and thank you for bringing this beautiful flashback.
Yeah, Throwback Thursday.
Throwback Thursday. Thank you all so much for listening. If you would like to help support Unraveling with Rayne, go to patreon.com/unravelingwithrayne. When you become a patron, you receive bonus content such as behind-the-scenes footage, along with other special content that you won't be able to find anywhere else. Music for Unraveling with Rayne was provided by Barefoot Randy. Studio space was provided by Moody Logic.